What went through your head as that happened?
Yeah, at halftime we just said we needed to come out flying. We knew that the heat, the altitude, stuff like that, and then obviously, we can use the excuse of the midweek game for us, but we just knew that if we can come out on the front foot and really get after them, we knew that we had great players coming off the bench and would keep it going for us. So, yeah, really proud of the group, and obviously came out, doesn't get much better than scoring that early. We just kept that going.
Yeah. Obviously, kind of elephant in the room was Portland gets a goal within the first minute. How do you kind of refocus and dominate the rest of the half or the rest of the game and kind of recenter?
Yeah, I think a great ability that this group has is just the ability to bounce back. Do I keep going? We good? Yeah, like I was saying, I think that this group just has the ability to bounce back. We're not going to let anything really jar us. Obviously, it's not ideal giving up a goal in the first minute or so, but I think it just puts us in uncomfortable positions, in positions that we need to not shy away from. And I think as we settled in, it took us maybe about 25, 30 minutes to really settle into the game. And then once we got that, we just really grew in confidence and obviously finished strong.
Yeah. There were 4 different goal scorers today. Which it seems like a lot of times we have a bunch of different goal scorers in this group. How does that affect the defense for the opponents, and how does that give us the edge?
Yeah, I think it's great that obviously we have so many different threats, so many people stepping up on different days, and we have the ability to bring in players as well. I think we've scored a few goals off the bench as well this year. So I think that's just a beauty of our roster, and our locker room is very much where we want to give each other our flowers and celebrate each other. And I think you see that on the field, everyone working together towards one goal, and just happy for everyone whenever their time rises, and excited for everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Congrats again on the brace, Cece.
Thank you.
But I did want to ask you about your teammate on the other side of one of those goals, I think, in Chloe. Just what was she doing that seemed to make things, I don't want to say look easy, because it's still hard to score goals at the end of the day, especially in this league, but she was making things a little bit easier, it looked like.
Yeah, I think she's growing in confidence in this league. I'm just so happy to see all that she's done this season and will continue to do. It's great being her teammate. She's great in the locker room, and I was saying too out there, I think it's just so funny that she's someone that really doesn't like all the glory on her, all the praise and all of that. So it's always fun when she just has those moments and we get to celebrate her, because she really shies away from it. I think on the field, she's just, like I said, growing in confidence and putting in great balls in the box, also taking people on, making people on skates and putting them down in the box, and then obviously converting when she needs to. So yeah, she's been a spark for us, and really proud and happy to have her as a teammate.
And then just big picture wise, how big is this win coming off of Wednesday, coming off of how you guys played, not getting the result? Not just being able to put 5 in the back of the net, but just getting 3 points against a really good team as, you're in this section of the league that's getting kind of crowded right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we were definitely disappointed in the result on Wednesday. And then obviously I think in the back of our minds, we were thinking about our 2-2 draw against Portland, felt that we maybe deserved a little bit more than what we had gotten out there. So like I said, we could have used the excuse this week of having 3 games and all of that. So I think it was just a great testament to this group's ability to, like I said, be in uncomfortable positions, but really fight through, and just that grit that we all have, and the depth that we can use. So yeah, it's just, it feels great. And like I said, I want to keep building momentum and just, keep thriving and keep winning games so we can keep climbing that table.
You had the hydration break this afternoon and come out and immediately get on the front foot. What was the conversation like during that quick break where you can kind of catch your breath a bit and reevaluate?
Yeah, we definitely knew that we weren't putting our best performance together. We felt that they were on us a little bit, and I think that we just as a collective knew that we needed to really find it within us, and I think that water break was definitely a good point in time for us to just catch a breath and reset and refocus. And we just made a few little adjustments in the midfield, pushing Rumi higher, and then it pushed me and Mina higher get into the pockets to put us in higher positioning on the field, and I think it really worked.
And then for you, it's just a bundle of goals now, 4 in 6 games. Especially when you fly around the field at such high speeds, how is it for you to slow the moment down in front of goal where you're able to pick out that chip or get on the end of that cross and just steer it where you want to go and not rush the moment?
Yeah, I think for me, I was maybe overthinking it a little bit too much early on in the season, especially as the games went on and I wasn't getting on the score sheet. It was frustrating for myself, but just remembering I can execute when I need to. And once I got one, I kind of felt like, okay, I can compose myself a little bit more now, and just remembering in those moments not to overthink it. And I think that in training, we have definitely focused a lot more on our finishing abilities and techniques and stuff like that. And so that little chip is something that I'm really proud of today, because I feel like Jimmy keeps hounding me about it, like, chip the keeper, every time I'm in a 1v1. And our keepers are so good in 1v1s, and so it's hard to get around them. So finally to be able to do that in a game and execute was, yeah, I'm proud of myself and really fulfilling.
Yeah, and last one for me. I know we could talk about everyone on that front line, but Kiana gets on the score sheet today. But even aside from that, the work she puts in pressing and holding the ball up and just taking that extra moment and just getting stuck in all over the place, how much does that help you, just the way she creates that gravity, pulling people to her because she's just so aggressive?
Yeah, absolutely. She really sets the tone for us up there. She really sets the press, and I think she's really grown in that role. And I think she kind of goes under the radar because she hasn't been on the score sheet maybe as much as people think she should, but she does so much dirty work, and I feel like that about our entire roster. I think that everyone is willing to put in that extra tackle, those extra runs, and I think that's just a mentality that we all have in our locker room and in our space. So yeah, I guess like I said, it starts with her, and then I think it just funnels all the way to the back line. We're able to just collectively see her work rate, and then it makes us want to work hard as well.
Cece, which of your goals felt better today?
Oh my gosh. I don't know, they were both great. I think the chip was great. I think just the composure in and around the box, I think it happened on a counter press, if I remember correctly. I think we won the ball in the midfield and it just kind of dinked around, and then, yeah, I think we needed that moment. We needed to get that goal to tie the game up and really feel the momentum again, so probably that one.
And then was there a specific message you guys shared after that quick goal by Portland to lock in and dominate the rest of the game?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think it took us a little bit of time to get into the game. I think after that first goal, I mean, it was just such a shell shock because it happened so quickly. And I think that I've seen this group bounce back so many times throughout the year. So I think that as a collective, we didn't want to harp on it too much and just remember there was 89 minutes left in the game. There was a lot of time for us. So yeah, I think the water break really helped us. And then obviously halftime as well, just those resetting moments. I think that we really grow in those moments and remember the big five, like we always say, when, a goal scored, the next five, and water breaks, next five, all that stuff. So yeah, I think that we definitely take advantage of those moments.
And then like Sean said, it's getting crowded at the top of the league standings. What kind of message does a win like this send to the rest of the league?
Yeah, I think it just shows that we're here to compete. We're here to stay in the mix. Like I said about Wednesday, I think it was a disappointing result for us, and but also really proud of the performance that we had against a solidified club like the Spirit are, and obviously they've been to 2 championships in a row. So yeah, just finding ways to win like they did on Wednesday. So yeah, I think this is a great result for us and something that we can really carry on to next weekend.
CC, congratulations on the win. Congratulations on the brace. Congratulations on your rightful seat on the throne this evening.
Thank you.
Earlier this week, we heard from Kate after a practice that nobody's going to be able to break down or beat, I'm not sure exactly how she phrased it, but nobody's going to be able to beat a cohesive 11 who run their butts off. Speak to that cohesion tonight, because the running your butts off was quite clearly evident.
Yeah, I think it just starts from day one of preseason. We just buy into what the coaching staff and what the club asks of us as a whole. And then obviously I think that we just have such a great locker room and a great group, a lot of selfless players, and I think that you see that on the field. And yeah, I think it's tough to play us here or on the road, no matter what it is, every game, because we have those 11, but then we also have those that come off the bench, and it's just a collective mindset that we all have. So I think that we're a tough team to play for sure.
You mentioned something that we talk about quite a bit, the locker room and the vibe that's coming out of it. This evening, before the match even started, before you even took the field for warm-ups, the coaches were all out passing and juggling. Talk about just what the vibe is from them too, because they were all smiles and having a good time tonight. And I wrote in my notes, good omen. I felt like tonight was going to be one of those nights. But, speak to them, this coaching staff and what they bring.
Yeah, definitely. You can see that they're all on the same page. They all have a good time together, and we definitely feed off of that. It definitely trickles down into our locker room. So yeah, I think it's a great group to be a part of. Our player locker room, and then also with the coaching staff. I think that it's a good group that we can just kind of feed off of each other, and yeah, we trust what they're doing, and it's obviously working, and it's putting us in good positions. So I think it's just an exciting group to be a part of.
Thanks, Cece.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry for my English.
You're good.
¿Ya? Ok. Entonces, meter un gol es difícil, y más estar abajo 1-0. ¿Qué te ayudó a no estar bajo presión y meter 2 goles con mucha normalidad?
So scoring a goal is hard, even especially when you're down 1-0. So what was it for you to be able to score coming from behind, especially under that pressure of being down a goal in the half?
Yeah, it was, like I said, a big moment. I didn't want to overthink it, knew that we needed to put one away to really feel comfortable in the game again. So yeah, I think it was definitely a collective goal as well. I think it was off the keeper played it long, someone won it in the air, and then Mina flicked it, then I flicked it to Key, then Key played it back to me. So I think it's just a collective goal, and well-deserved for all of us.
Saeed, Travis, over the Zoom. Nope. All right. Thank you, Cece.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Alrighty back there. Perfect. All right. If you have a question over the Zoom, please use the raise hand function. Otherwise, Kayla, get us started.
Hey, congrats on the win. Congrats on 3 assists. That's a pretty big number, especially with how many goals there were. How do you talk us through those assists, and how do you kind of unselfishly but also selfishly kind of get those to the right people and kind of assess where the ball needs to go?
I think one of our main fundamentals here is that you can't always control how things go technically at times, but you can control how you outwork an opponent. And I do think my assists were showcasing that pretty much. And it was great to see the second assist, the second goal with Cece. She opened up a channel. I think we had actually 3 players open in that channel. So truthfully, it was pretty easy to notice. And then the one with Brecken, kind of the same story. She was wide open on the opposite side. So it was an easy player to find, and she did a great job finishing it.
Yeah. And then how do you kind of keep that momentum and that energy in a really hot game, and you're playing the whole time? How do you keep that forward?
Honestly, probably just hate losing. The thought of going home and losing really fuels me. In the way that I felt Wednesday when I got home, I didn't love it. So I wanted to make sure that changed tonight. And yeah, I think it's just about competing and just being more competitive than your opponent. At times it doesn't always work out, but tonight we were fortunate to get a great victory. So I was happy, and when I go home, I'll be very happy.
Good. That's good. And then this is kind of a 6-point game because Portland is right there. And I mean, within the top 6, there's very close. It's very close in terms of points. What is this message, or what message does this give to the rest of the opponents and the rest of the league?
Yeah, I think it's very obvious that this season we are competing to be at the top of the table, and we are right there. So I think it's just certain moments that we have to clean up at times. Like the first minute of this game wasn't ideal. You never want to start that way, but it was what we did right afterwards. It was how we closed off the half, and it's those types of moments. And we have players that want to compete, and we have players that know what it takes to win games. And that's how you win titles, is when you have players like that. So here we go. Top of the table soon, hopefully.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
I know it feels like it was forever ago, mostly because of that CBA break and everything, but was there a part of your mind that was thinking about that draw up in Portland, the crazy game, how they came back on you guys, maybe even up until some point during this one tonight?
Yeah, that was a tough one to go into the CBA break with, just because the circumstances and how it happened were so unfortunate. But yeah, we had to let it go, and we had to fix, I don't want to say mistakes, but at sometimes we're going to say they're mistakes, but we've been correcting those, and tonight we wanted a victory, and we didn't want that bad taste in our mouth when we left the pitch like we did that one game in Portland. So we're pleased with it, and yeah, now we move forward.
And then I hope Cece didn't expose you too much, but I asked her a little bit about your game. She said you don't really like talking about yourself too much in the locker room. Are you okay being a footnote in the Utah Royals record book after tonight?
Yeah, people have been mentioning that. I guess it's just going to have to, like they say, the French, quel sera, sera.
I ask you a similar question that I asked Cece about, especially with your assists, slowing the game down. Like, how do you do that? How does it work for you to where you can take a breath, pick your head up, pick out the pass, and not rush the moment when you've got that opportunity?
I think it's more so about focusing on momentum. There's moments in games where you have to take advantage of where there's openings, and that might require more energy. Then there's moments that we need to slow down the game. Like, for example, when we got scored on that first minute, we needed to take a second, take a breath, and make sure that we were going to control the rest of that game, because those types of moments can be pivotal, and it can take a very negative turn very quickly. And I think we showcased that the next 15 minutes. We were able to take control of the game, and afterwards kind of work ourselves back into it and get that goal right before the half. So it's just about focusing on the moments and knowing when to go and when to slow it down.
And then I know he mentioned I wanted to ask about Portland as well, because the last game, it's a tight game till late, and then it's a penalty, but you were all able to kill this game off very effectively this afternoon. How much of a boost is that for y'all, and that it's another team near the top of the table? Not only did you beat them, but that you killed the game off so easily late.
I think that's something that I'm really proud of with this group this season, is that we found so many different ways to score goals. We found so many different goal scorers. And kind of when you have that prowess up front, it's so hard to defend because you can't solely focus on one player. And I think that's what's made us so lethal this season, and that was showcased this evening. There was so many different goal scorers and so many different ways that we found the end of the back of the net, But yeah, I think that's what we need to just keep focusing on, and we've been doing a great job of it. And even at the other end of the pitch, our back line's also done a superb job keeping the ball out of the net, which allows us to be successful up front.
Chloe, which of those assists were your favorite tonight?
Oh, I liked them all for different reasons, but I'm going to go with the first one just because it started getting us the win, so I'm going to go with that one. And me and Cece have been talking about a little celebration for when we get that moment. We got to do it tonight, and me and Cece are very great dancers, so if you go back, you can look at that. So yeah, we'll go with that one because it got us the win for today.
And then you assisted Brecken, and that was her first goal in over a year. How does that feel to watch her get that goal and then to have played a part in it?
Yeah, it's been great because Brecken and I in training, we play the same position most of the time. She's playing on the left side with me. So her and I tend to play against each other a lot in training, and she's a great teammate in that way, and we do challenge each other. But Brecken does have very unique abilities, and she's a very technical player. As we saw tonight, she was so calm on the ball finishing that. She took her time. Not every player has that calmness, so I think it's something that we have to nurture, and Brecken's just going to keep growing.
And then you mentioned the message that this win sends to the rest of the league, but what message does this send throughout your guys' locker room?
Yeah, I think this was a big 3 points just because we've had a really heavy week. We had 3 games, 7 days, and we came out with 6 points, and they were pretty strong opponents throughout the week as well. So, yeah, we're proud of it. We're happy to have the 2 days off, and now we just got to let it go and keep going forward and get more 3 points.
Chloe, congratulations on the win tonight, your 3 assists. Inquiring minds want to know, did you see CC making that run, or were you just putting it into the right spot?
Truthfully, I saw a sea of black, so I knew that we had an opening in that channel. I didn't know it was CC in that moment, but yeah, there was CC there, and then I think there was Kiana as well, and Paige. There was a whole bunch of them, so it was easy to pick them out, truthfully.
Well, good on you. And the assist to Brecken was, again, on a dime, just perfect placement. Earlier this week, we heard from Kate after practice where she said that no one's going to be able to beat or break down 11 cohesive players working their butts off. Can you speak to that cohesion tonight and how it just did everything for you?
Yeah, I think that's something that's unique and also very special about this group is that if someone falls, someone else is right there to pick it up. We want to do the best for one another within the group, which is so powerful. You don't always see that on teams. I've been on a couple teams now in my career. So I think that's one of our unique strengths is that each and every player, left, right, on the bench, doesn't matter. We want the best for one another on and off the pitch, and it shows. We want each other to succeed.
Congrats on the win, first of all.
Thank you.
And I think every goal was a collective effort, right? Team effort. What changed between the first time and the second time? Like the first time you go to halftime 1-1, and then the second time you basically score a goal every 10 minutes, right? What changed?
I think it was just that first minute. It was kind of like, I don't know if this is an expression here in Canada, you say it was kind of like a punch to the nose, and it kind of shook us for a second. But once we were able to get our feet underneath ourselves and we were able to kind of start growing into the match, it really didn't go down. We were only going up from then. So I think it also helped a lot to get that goal right before the half, because then we knew we could keep swinging that momentum our way. So yeah, it was just about growing into the game.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone over the Zoom? No? All right. Thanks, Chloe.
Thanks,
we'll have
guys.
Jimmy in here shortly.
Appreciate it.
Y'all know what to do over the Zoom? Is this even on? Whatever. Go ahead, Jayla.
Hey, Coach, congrats on the win. A very decisive win. You go into the halftime 1-1. What are the things that you kind of say to the players to kind of get them excited and pumped up to where the rest of the game is them completely dominating?
Sorry, I was going to use that word. I'm going to come back on it. The same stuff as I said yesterday, and I think that was the only piece that was going through our head. I think after the water break, we looked different. So we just went back to like, hey, this is what we had prepared. It's actually happening. They're allowing us to play through the single pivot. They're allowing us to go around, and we were like, just do it. Next 10 minutes, just do it. Coming out of the second half as well, showing them some images and just being very clear, if we're going to try this, we're going to be in trouble. If we're going to do this, we're going to be successful. And then credits to them to come out and be like, okay, we just going to do it. And I think, we saw a second half that is probably among some of the better ones we've had as a organization this far. But yeah, loads to be proud of.
Yeah. Once again, 4 different goal scorers today. It's kind of a trend at this point of being able to know that there's going to be a lot of different goals scored by a bunch of different players. How does that give your team an edge against the opponent's defense?
I mean, Bracken Mozingo was not in the roster on Wednesday. Reason being that Narumi was sick throughout the week. So my choice was to bring an extra midfielder in with Diana. That's why I left her out. I also explained it to her. It was not a performance thing, but Narumi has been sick or was sick after North Carolina, so I wasn't sure of how long she could go. So I was like, I probably at this point need more of a midfielder than I need a winger. And then today you play with a single pivot, and you know your winger's going to run, so you go, probably need more of a winger than I need a double pivot. So I think that's why we did what we did. And then she comes in, she scores. She's number 11 this season, which I think is a statement as well. We have different ways of scoring goals, but also different people, but also mentally being able to bounce back after being left out of the roster, coming into a game. I think it was the first appearance in a while for Bracken, and then showing what she did. And I think shows just how this team is functioning and how everyone's staying focused to what we want to do this season.
Your next game is against Denver, and we've played them before with a win. But this one's in Denver and against Lindsay Heaps, who they picked up during the break. How do you prepare for a player like Lindsay Heaps, and what do you do to focus in the practices to get excited for the rivalry?
Yeah, I think how is Heaps going to handle with Tanaka, with Delzer, with Elfava, with whoever you want to name at this point. I think we as an organization, we don't look that much at the opposition. I think Denver is a good team. They know what they're doing. They have a great coaching staff, some great players. But at the end of the day, I think it's just us, and we have to focus on us. And it's been bringing joy this far. I don't think we've ever looked to specifically to make sure we do this, make sure we do that based upon our opponent. It's just making sure we stay us. And I think I'm the proudest about the fact that if you look at maybe the 3rd game this season until today, you're seeing the same stuff. And it's getting better and better and more of it. And I think that's just what I'm really proud of. The team is executing what we want them to do. And I think more and more you're seeing the blueprint of what this organization wants to be.
And we've talked about this a lot in this conference as well as in other post-match. But something that the new kit this year is all about the swarm. and about a hive and being together, and all of the stuff is we play better together. How do you foster that off the pitch as well as on the pitch?
That's their job. I think I definitely, or we as a staff have a job or have a part in it, but the reality is you have a Kate Alfava, you have a Paige, you have a Chloe. I think that's their jobs, and they're doing their jobs really well. They're keeping the people together. I think before Jenny left, the baby shower is a good example of how they stick together and they do stuff for each other and with each other. And I think you look at today and you go like, who was the team that had 3 games this week? And who was actually, who was that team? And it was us, and I think it's so hard to beat 11. And when 11 become 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 like today, that's pretty tough to go against. And I think that's just what you see. And like everyone you bring on the pitch is doing their jobs and is trying to contribute to what the team needs. I think that's just, that's very special this season.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm glad you mentioned Narumi playing alone in that single pivot in there, because I feel like the natural inclination, you give up a goal 33, 34 seconds, whatever it was in, would be to maybe try to sit back, not give up a second goal, get really defensive. You guys almost did the opposite, where like she started pushing way forward. That pushed Cece and Mina a little bit more. Cece was talking some about that. Your wingers were getting higher. Was that conscious and tactical, or was that almost just a matter of like, Rumi kind of saying like, hey, I'll get space to operate, you guys just go?
I think it was, obviously it's the first time we're doing it. I think last time we did it was against Kansas, actually, in the first game of the season. That's when you play with a single pivot. So it took a bit of time. You don't have really preparation going into the game, because I think some of you had seen what we did at practice. It wasn't like loads of tactical stuff. It was more like, let's get their feet going, let them go in. So I think it was all coming off footage, all coming off slides, which is not easy. And I think it was just realizing like, okay, what are the gaps? How can we benefit from them? And I think there was some coaching, but I also just think in general, like what I wanted the team to understand is like, we're playing with a forward 5 line. Like we ain't gonna dwell today. We're going at them. Like they're coming to us. Yes, it's a 3-game week, but we're playing at home. Would I have done the same going into Portland? Maybe not. But here at home, like we have to have the confidence to go like 5 players in their face, single pivot, find space, and you'll be successful. And I think the second we did it and the first ball that went over, I think everyone looked at each other and they were like, maybe we should do this more. And I think that's when it became fun.
And then Chloe gets the 3 assists. She's been just such a focal point in the attack. What's working so well for her this season? I mean, obviously she's healthy again. I think that probably starts there, but it just seems like things are clicking for her really well.
Yeah, I think it's. I think that left side is quite lethal. If you look at Nuria and Chloe, I think how they work together, how they collaborate. But I think they have a good understanding of what Chloe's qualities are, and I think more than ever we're playing into her qualities. I think she's a player that can go 1v1, can put in a cross, can dribble, can get PKs, and I think that's what we realized. And I think just more and more you see in her getting into the same actions, and I think we all know I think it's called muscle memory. The more you do something, the better you get at it. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. She's doing it over and over again, and that's going to be really hard to defend. And I think, it's just keep it going for now. I'm happy.
You mentioned Narumi being a little bit sick this week. I want to ask you about her, just not this game, but her performance in general, especially in a single pivot, where she just plays as that sometimes unspoken holding midfielder, pops up in dangerous spots, moves the ball forward, helps create those dangerous situations, and just her constant work game in and game out with this team.
I think it took a bit of guts as well, because you go against Moultrie, who appreciates a lot of space, and she knows where to pop up. I was a bit afraid in the beginning when Moultrie was showing up on the weak shoulder of Narumi, because that was a hard one to defend. But I think Narumi just made the click and went like, well, I'm being the single pivot, so they trust me to do the job. And that's when you see the red at best, like when she understands what she needs to do, but also when she's high on trust. Like, it's a player that, I said it before, we tried to get her in 2024. We did it again in 2025, so I was really, really happy when we got her. And I think we're seeing more and more why. Could be a midfield by herself. She can collaborate. She can get down and just understand how the game is going. And I think, the number of times she even showed up beneath their pressing line to just create space, like those are things that you'd like to teach as a coach, but you don't have to when you have players like Narumi.
And then I want to ask Kiana as well up top. She gets her goal today on that little back heel flick that was insane. But her work off the ball, her work pressing, her work holding up, just pulling attention to herself unselfishly for others. How did it feel for you to see her get that goal after all the work she's put in?
I also think credit to the medical and performance staff, because for her to be able to do this for 75, 74 minutes, I think that's nothing short of incredible. Obviously, Laura started the week for us, which we wanted to do in a way as well, like just to make sure that we got through the week with the type of games we had and like the type of games we wanted to play ourselves. Like I think the staff has done a good job at recognizing like what we need in every single game. And I think again, there's that team element. You have a performance staff doing what they're doing, you have a medical staff, you have a coaching staff, and then the players. And I think it's so hard to beat when everyone is aligned and everyone is just doing what they're doing. I think Emily Simpkins took a lot of work with Kiana one-on-one to just make sure she's showing up in the spaces where she should show up. And we jokingly said like, hey, did you see that? If you actually show up between those two, you're going to do these kind of things, right? And she kind of laughed and she was like, yeah, it all starts making sense. And I was like, well, yeah, like, well done, but like, just keep it going. And I think, yeah, like more and more, I think we're gaining trust as well, which is fun, because then as a coach, when you have the trust from a team, you can be a coach. You can start playing around and we can start doing our jobs more.
You talked about the blueprint Wednesday night after that game and where you are in the blueprint and finding where those cracks are. But so far this week, you have gone a tough road win, a close home loss against a team that just won a title, and then you killed off a game today against a team that's right with you in the table. Yeah. How was it for you to watch this team not just fight back, but then to kill this game off so it wasn't stressful in the last 10 minutes of a busy week?
I think that just shows who we are. And I think more and more, I think I always read some of the social media content. I should definitely stop with it. But I've read plenty of times it's tough to be a Royals fan back in the days. I think that's what we want to give back now. We want to make sure that people enjoy what we're doing and that they also recognize themselves in what we do. And I think I would feel bad after Wednesday and after Saturday if we show up thinking about Portland, thinking about Washington, more than us being us. I think that's the key of what we're doing right now. Like you go into a Portland and it's warm because it was really warm today. But you go into the game and the message before the game is like, hey, there is no doubt that we're gonna be on their half. We're gonna run. We're gonna be us. As much as it's warm and it's annoying, like we have to stick to what we do. And I think that's bringing success. So more and more players will recognize themselves in it. I think if you look at today, compare it with a few other games, like against North Carolina, you had to suffer. I think we had to suffer. Box defending was great, and now all of a sudden in possession, you look amazing. I think like the team is recognizing what every game needs, and I think it's just a joy this far. But we're, I don't know, how many do we have left? 12, 13?
Today was 18.
So 12 left. I think my only wish is just to keep it going. I think keep on focusing on us and just the process more than pushing for the playoffs and pushing for all the stuff. That will happen if we do the right thing. Thank you.
Jimmy, who's your player of the match today?
Wow. Tough. They had some moments, but I would say CC. I think, like how she's reacted on everything, how she last season was dropped by a team. We picked her up. She had to come in, then went from playing to not playing to being who she is this season. I think that's quite incredible.
And then I think you told us Wednesday that in your post-match exchange with Adrian Gonzalez, you basically said to not count you guys out.
Yeah.
What's your message after this win?
If you believe in yourself, nothing is impossible. I think that's a reality. I think at least that's how I look at the game at Wednesday. I go like, should we have lost that one? I'm not sure. Should we have won it? I will never say that, but I do think a tie was there. And then today you go out and after 35 seconds you concede a goal. And I pretty much felt the whole stadium going like, ooh, is it going to be this kind of day? And then it took us about 12 minutes, maybe even slightly longer after the water break. And then you saw us again, and the team took a lot of confidence, just those things that worked well for us. I think that's just the message through this league. Like, you scored 9 goals for a team that last season struggled very heavily with scoring goals. And all of a sudden you're number 1 in the league when it comes to scoring goals. And I think it's finding a way. And again, like, do we have the biggest stars? Do we have? No, but we're finding ways to score goals. And we have 11 goal scorers, so that keeps on going.
And then on Wednesday, you described the Rodman goal as a 5-second lapse against a world-class player. Is that how you would describe Sophia Wilson's goal tonight?
Well, you would argue so. I think it's just a miscommunication between a few players, but also, again, like, you know what they're doing, you know where they're going to go, but still you allow them to do so. So I think, like, those are the small lapses if we want to compete, because that's also what I said after Wednesday. If we want to compete, those are the lapses we have to get out. But then you also realize that in a 3-game week, you come back, you go over it, and you actually put down a statement. I think that's something that people should talk about in the league.
When you're game planning against players like Rodman and Wilson, do you expect to shut them out, or do you expect it's inevitable for them to score and you just have to compensate and contain them?
Yeah, I think there are different tiers of players in this league, and I think there's some really good players where you can shut them down, and you can do film and you can explain like, look, this is what they're doing, and they might not find a solution themselves. Against a Rotman, against a Wilson, that's a different level. You might shut them down once, twice, but you know they're going to do something different. It's the first time I saw Wilson coming that deep to get the ball, which he never does. So they're finding ways to get themselves involved in the game, and I think that's where we learn and where we talk about that blueprint. When that happens, take pride, because they're changing to us. But then how do we react on it? What happens when Wilson is doing all of that stuff? So I think, again, they're on a tier where, yeah, we have to learn as an organization, as a team, like how do we deal with it? Knowing that, yeah, some players you will never stop. I think that's a reality. It's just finding a way as a team to stop them. Thank you.
Coach, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
It's 8 p.m. on a Sunday after 9 days of a lot of work. So I'll just ask you one question. How much do you love coaching, and how much do you love coaching this group?
I was sitting next to a guy, a little boy, in the warm-ups, and he was actually sitting in my seat. And I looked at him and was like, you don't want this seat. I can tell you that. Because when it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's really bad. And I was like, you don't want that seat. Like, I can tell you that. And if you do so, please make sure you're surrounded by the right people. Make sure you have a mental system or a mental support system behind you of people that will help you, because it gets tough. But you have to go to the rough and the tough for it to get better. And I think that's kind of the wave that we're going now. But in all reality, I think I'm a bit of the same like I was Wednesday. And Wednesday we lost. Today you put down a statement. And I think it's finding authenticity in what we do. Do I love this group? Yeah, with all my heart. And like I said it plenty of times before, like this is a place, it's a magical place, a magical city. And like when people actually fly in, they understand it. But I still think there is a lot of things going on that people don't understand, very positive things. And you see this group gelling and even more and even more. And the Brecken example is a great example of like being left out of the roster, coming back, playing, scoring a goal and doing what she did in possession and out of possession. You go like, wow, this is quite incredible. So I think, yes, I love coaching sometimes. Not often, but sometimes I do. But above all, I think it's a group that makes me love it even more. Thank you.
Coach, congrats on the win, first of all.
Thank you.
You've mentioned a couple times the water breaks. I just wanted to ask, in your role as the coach, what role has the water break had this season?
It's an interesting one, isn't it? I think it's being surrounded by the right people. We have two analysts sitting upstairs. We have James and we have Sam. Sam is in connection with John. James is in connection with James and with Emily. Whilst they discuss elements, you have Sam and John discussing elements, and they know what they have to discuss. And I think right before a water break, you got about 45 seconds together where you go like, what do you actually want to tell them? Because the reality of like a water break is you don't want to put 10 things in their head. You just want to make sure the one message you want them to give or want them to have needs to be the message you give them. So I think that's what you do as a coach. But yeah, I mean, water breaks do not allow to do tactical crazy stuff. It's mostly just understanding what they need to do. And I think if you look at the water breaks, and you should actually, you see how everyone was involved with players. And I got 10 seconds and I stepped away because that was my message. You had John doing stuff, you had James doing stuff, you had Emily doing stuff, and all of a sudden you see like players react to it. And then the 10 minutes after the water break speak for themselves. Players took up their roles, and it's a lot of credit to this staff and how they are gelling together and understand what it takes to win these kind of games.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Travis over Travis has one in the room.
Jimmy, I just have one question for you today. Y'all are sitting third from the overall in the league. You're leading the league in goals per matches, corners earned, set piece goals, a statement win tonight. My question is, at what point do you start worrying that you're going to wake up and it's going to be the first day of the season all over again?
I can tell you I'm going to sleep well tonight, though. I don't know. I think we started the season with a clear idea, and I think a lot of credit to front office, and I think when you don't necessarily stress about results and you keep on focusing on what you actually control, I think you sleep well. And I think we as a staff, we as a group, at the end of the day, we just look at ourselves and what we control. And I've had plenty of questions about officials, plenty of questions about lots of stuff, but the reality is, as much as you get emotional about it as a coach as well, you don't control those elements. But I think as long as we stay focused on what we control, I think everyone can sleep well and can wake up in a very good way. And I think, I don't want us to wake up. If this is a dream, let's keep it going, and let's make sure at the end of the season we have something to dream about in any given way. And I'm not being arrogant about something, but I do think this city organization is craving something. I think the players are craving it too, and that's what you see.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Travis? No? All right. Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Jimmy.
Thank you all. Have a good evening.